Hey there, today I'm gonna get creative with the ML60 LED Light. So right now, everything that you're seeing is being lit by 3 of these portable 60-watt LED lights that can be powered by NP-F style batteries. So I've got one light in the bathroom going through diffusion. I've got one light shining through a softbox out in the hallway. And then I have one light coming through a bed sheet up front, just giving me a little bit of fill in my face. So I'm going to try out these lights from a filmmaker's perspective and see what I can do with them. Come along, let's try some stuff out. For this setup, I wanted to recreate natural daylight using only ML60s. I have 3 units creating the scene that you're seeing here. It's actually the middle of the night. Now the units are off. Now the units are back on. 2 ML60s are set up outside, shooting up into my large 5-in-1 reflector. And that reflector is bouncing back toward the windows. I also stretched some unbleached muslin over part of the window to further obscure the sources and make it brighter outside. I would have risen up that muslin even higher, but my stand wasn't tall enough, so I couldn't do it. To illuminate the background, I just positioned my 3rd ML60 in the far corner of the room and shot it toward the ceiling. So you're just getting some bounced ceiling light back there. The 2 lights outside are at 100% power, and this light inside is only at 15% power. And that's because there's a lot of light loss that happens when you bounce a light and then diffuse it and then run it through Venetian blinds. Whereas the light in this room had a lot less to travel through, so it's not losing as much output. So I just reduced its overall brightness so it wouldn't be much brighter than the foreground. So I'm using one more trick to make the scene as bright as possible, which is the high ISO capabilities of the A7S III. This camera has sort of a dual gain structure, which means when you bump the ISO up to 12,800 in S-Log3, the image becomes a lot clearer than it would be in the middle ISOs just below it. So I cranked up to ISO 12,800, which made the scene overexposed. Then I closed down my aperture just a bit. We're at f2.5 on an f1.4 lens. And then in post, I'm gonna further reduce the exposure a bit more to get it to the proper level, and I will have a completely clean image. So if your camera has a dual gain sensor like the Panasonic S1 cameras do, or the Blackmagic cameras, or my Sony, then you can take advantage of that, and you can do night for day shooting using much smaller lights than you normally be able to get away with. And even if I didn't have a dual gain sensor, it's still bright enough in this room that I could just crank up the ISO a bit and open up my aperture and get a decent exposure. There would be a little bit of noise. I'd probably be at around ISO 1000, but I could clean that up in post, and depending on the scene, it may or may not be a bad thing. Here I've attempted to create a dark and moody scene using 2 ML60s. We've got one here as my key. This is an ML60 on a gobo arm on my light stand, and it's shooting straight down at my face through a softbox and a grid. My key light here is at 100% power. It's supposed to be coming from this lamp here. This is my motivated source, and I actually switched out the bulb of that lamp with a daylight balanced lamp so that it would match the output from the ML60. In the background, we've got just one more light giving a little bit of ambience back there. It's up on a light stand all the way up and shooting down at a 45-degree angle with the reflector on, and that is dialed way down to around 25% power. I tested out this little softbox over and over in different configurations to try to get soft light out of it, and the conclusion I came to is that it just has to be really, really close to the subject to get anything even resembling soft light. I had to put the softbox so close that I can reach out and touch it. This is how close the softbox is to me. So because it's a smaller source, you can't back it off very far before it becomes a pin source of light, and it becomes really unflattering. So this is the best that I could get from it. Definitely not my favorite softbox that I've ever worked with. One really great thing though about the lightweight of the softbox and the light is that you can really easily rig it overhead like I did here. I used a gobo arm, I put it on a regular light stand, and I used the battery for the light as a counterweight on the boom arm here. And then I just rose it up over my head, and it was easy to cantilever the light in front of my face without the stand being in the shot. If this light was bigger and heavier, it would have been a lot harder to do this, and a lot more dangerous too. Let's say you're outside shooting in the daytime and you've got a lot of backlight and you want to put some more light on your actor's face. Well, I'm going to turn on the ML60 at full power with the reflector. It does a pretty good job of countering the sunlight. Now, of course, that reflector is multiplying the amount of light that's coming out of the ML60, and it's also giving me a very hard light. Okay, so I'm going to turn it on. All right. About 6 feet. And here I am at the window. Now we're just closer up on my face, but the light is the same distance, about 12 feet away from me, turned on 100% power. So I'm going to try to soften it up just a little bit by putting the ML60 Softbox on it. Now the Softbox is just barely out of frame. It's about this far. If I reach out, I can touch the center of the Softbox. So I'm getting enough light, I would say, to fight the sun right now. My camera's at f8, so that gives you an idea of how bright it is. So I would say to use this light effectively outdoors in the daytime, you'd probably have to stay really close to the Softbox, and your subject would have to not move very much in the shot. Front diffusion has been removed from the Softbox, and I put this silver interior baffle on there. I have my ML60 up in front of me on a stand aimed toward a gigantic 5-in-1 reflector. I'd say the reflector is about 5 feet from the tip of my nose here. So I'm about to turn this on, and let's see how much light I get back. Full power, ML60, all the way up. This is what I'm getting back. Light off, back on. One more time. Overall, I really like this light. I like the portability, I like the versatility, I like the way that I'm able to rig it up in ways that would be much more difficult if it was a bigger, heavier light, or if it required more power. In some ways, the ML60 is not very versatile. It's 5600K only. It's not bicolor, it's not RGBW. So if you're trying to match existing light or do special effects, you have to bring along gels. The other main drawback, it's not Bowens mount. Yes, you can buy an adapter, you can put that on the front of the light, and then you can use Bowens accessories, but that's more stuff to pay for, more bulk to worry about, and more pieces that you can lose. And I do wish these lights were weatherproof, because they're portable and they're battery powered, so a lot of people are going to want to use them outdoors, and of course the weather's always changing. And I don't want to try to have to plastic bag these lights while I'm using them because it affects the heat dissipation. But overall, this is a great light, and it's being sold at a really reasonable price. So for the budget of a single high-powered light, you could buy 3 or even 4 of the ML60s, and then you can gang them up together and shoot them into diffusion if you need a larger soft source. So those are my overall thoughts on this light. It's been a lot of fun to play with, and I'm sure I'm going to use it in the future on my productions. All right, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. In this course, you're going to learn the run-and-gun filmmaking techniques that I've developed over years of practice, and you'll learn how to apply your photography skills toward making great videos. We're going to start with the basics. Here you'll learn how to set up your camera and do basic camera movements, both handheld and on a gimbal. Then I'll teach you how to direct an actor and do basic scene coverage so that you'll be able to shoot a complete scene that cuts together smoothly. Then we'll get into the really fun stuff like complex gimbal moves, shooting out on the street, field audio, and hyperlapses. You'll learn some specialty skills like filming a moving vehicle, action sports, and drone filmmaking. Then the shooting lessons will finish with improvised portraits and a party on the beach, where you'll learn some important skills for low light shooting. Then it's on to editing, where I'll show you the methods I've developed so I can effortlessly work with any amount of footage. First, you'll learn how to import and organize your clips. Then you'll learn to create string outs, scenes, and master projects. Then I'll take you step by step through each scene in the film, showing you exactly how I put it together, and most importantly, why I made my creative decisions. Filmmaking is storytelling, and learning to tell a story with the edit is the most important skill of all. I'll show you how I add sound effects and music, and then we'll do some finishing touches like color correction, audio level mastering, and export. So through the making of this short film, you'll learn essential video skills that have taken me years of real-world practice to develop. So I hope you're excited. Let's go ahead and get started.